What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right. Oleksandr Usyk has done exactly what I thought he was going to do in this fight and outclass Murat Gassiev. His endurance was too much. His movement was too much. He's just all around a different level fighter from Murat Gassiev, who was just following right behind him, you know? And I don't know what he was, just as a straightforward, just like Billy Joe Saunders said when he was describing David Lemieux, he said he's a useless come forward fighter. In the words of Billy Joe Saunders, as he described David Lemieux, and that's pretty much what it was with Murat Gassiev. Murat Gassiev had no answer for the speed of Oleksandr Usyk. And it was just easy money for him, man. It was easy money for him. So, I got to go ahead and say this, man. This dude deserves credit. He deserves to come up, high in the pound for pound list, in my pound for pound list. I definitely would move him up ahead of Mikey Garcia. I still would say that he is still below Terrence Crawford, but he did do something. The only reason I wouldn't have him as high as Terrence Crawford is this is his first division, his first weight division. Terrence Crawford won a belt at 135. He won a belt at 100. He won all the belts at 140 and won a championship at 147. I think Usyk is probably really could fight at heavyweight. And so we'll see what Usyk does as far as his heavyweight division. And but all in all, man, great fight for Oleksandr Usyk, man. Great fight for Oleksandr Usyk. I think he's a tremendous talent. He's an exciting fighter to watch. He's not just, and it's ironic, man. Abel Sanchez said that style of fighter is not exciting. And I'll tell you for sure what I think about that. That's why he says that. That's why Abel Sanchez says that style of fighter isn't exciting. And it's because the style of trainer that he is and what he encourages fighters to do can't do anything with a fighter that believes in hitting and not being hit. And that's what Oleksandr Usyk is. Oleksandr is a hit and don't get hit fighter. He's extremely, extremely busy. He's got fast hands. He's not really sitting down on his punches. He's got mind-boggling endurance. I mean, otherworldly endurance. This guy can move and throw punches nonstop for 12 straight rounds. I don't know if I've seen anybody else do that. I've seen people that can throw punches for 12 rounds. I've not seen anybody that can move in circles, jump up, and the guy's not flat-footed walking around. He's moving. He's constantly moving left, right, in and out. He's kicking his feet out. He's doing little mini Ali shuffles, 12 rounds, 10 rounds into the fight. Even Muhammad Ali did not move that much, man. Now, I know Ali was slightly bigger than him. He's a little bit taller, and Ali weighed a little bit more. So he's a slightly bigger guy, but even Ali was fighting over 15 rounds, so that's a little bit different as well. But I'm telling you, man, this guy's endurance, it's just inexplicable. I'm watching this guy, and that's exactly what I called for this fight. I was like, man, Murat Gassiev he's going to have some good rounds, and he might try to come on at the end, but at a certain point in time, he's going to have to rest. And when he rests and he gets a little bit winded, that's when Oleksandr Usyk is going to really start lighting him up. As soon as he gets tired a little bit, because Oleksandr Usyk doesn't get tired. I saw him take one deep breath in round number 12. One deep breath in round number 12. But other than that, the guy is he's an absolute machine. What they called him what the commentators called him was a wind-up doll. They're like, man, this dude is like a wind-up doll. Talking about his endurance, like, man, the exercises he's doing, all that, he's got incredible endurance because of the exercises that he's doing. It is what it is. However, I gotta say I like Oleksandr Usyk a lot. I'm happy, if not more than anything, I'm happy about two reasons. Number one, or three reasons. Number one, I picked Oleksandr Usyk to win by unanimous decision. So that's always cool to know. You know, you could have pretty much bet that. I don't know how much I'm not into gambling. I don't know how much money you can make for having bet on it going unanimous decision. Oleksandr Usyk it wasn't going under. Betting the under was not going to, under 10 rounds, that wasn't going to work. That was going to be out the window because Gassiev was never going to be able to catch the guy. And Oleksandr Usyk doesn't punch. Oleksandr Usyk is the kind of guy that's going to go 12 rounds against a world class, any type of fighter with a chin. But all being all, just like, some people said some stuff about what Evander Holyfield was when he, developed all that muscle mass. And, I'm not going to lie and tell you I don't have questions about about Oleksandr Usyk and this endurance. That seems unnatural to me. And I'm just telling you, it seems unnatural to me. That's a lot of running around, man. That's a lot of moving. That's a lot of punches. Even if you're not really sitting down on all the punches, still, the footwork and the movement over 12 rounds without ever getting tired, it's just, he is an exceptional athlete. If there's nothing else going on. But even if there is something else going on, that dude's an exceptional athlete. And it's good to see boxers who are great athletes and who are doing what the sport of boxing is about. It's about hitting and not being hit. And Oleksandr Usyk did a whole lot of hitting, and Murad Gassiev did a whole lot of missing, and he kept his hands in his pockets. So it's not even as if Murad Gassiev hit Oleksandr Usyk that much. So all in all, great fight, man. But seriously, Oleksandr Usyk deserves to be mentioned as one of the top fighters in boxing. He's the second guy since Jermaine Taylor to have all four of the major belts. The other person, of course, being Terrence Crawford, when he unified very, very briefly last year with the at 140 pounds. So that's what we're talking about. He did and the fact that they did it in the tournament, the tournament made that possible because everyone got rewarded, and as the tournament went on, the belts went on. I really wish you could have a tournament set up like that in the welterweights too, where all of the people who had belts or were top contenders would be in that tournament. And after that tournament is over, that person is going to be the champion. That person becomes a champion, becomes a unified champion. I think that's what would make boxing great. Or because you now know who the cruiserweight champion is. There's not a question about who the cruiserweight champion is. It's Oleksandr Usyk, because there are no other legitimate champions. The only person that could, maybe Denis Lebedev and shout out to my man Mr. Boxing Today too. Denis Lebedev is the champion in recess for the WBA. So if he comes back, Oleksandr Usyk would have to defend his titles against him, have to defend the WBA belt against him. And as a result, the rest of those come as well. But my thought on it is that this is, going to be similar to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is going to, where Terrence Crawford wind up having to relinquishing the belt pretty quickly and moving up to 147, moving up to welterweight division. I see this being the same thing for Oleksandr Usyk. Oleksandr Usyk has now done what he needed to do at cruiserweight. Again, cruiserweight is kind of, the redhead stepchild, of the boxing divisions. And you can tell that just from the lack of buzz that this unification fight got at least in the United States. Maybe it's very big in Ukraine and in Russia and Europe. But in the United States, where I kind of, where most of the chatter that I hear is, it's just not something. It was very big among hardcore boxing fans. Hardcore boxing fans, avid boxing fans were waiting for this fight. They, found the stream, watched the fight. But now Alexander Usyk, it's time for Alexander Usyk to move up to heavyweight and see what he can do there. Personally, I think he's going to do real well at heavyweight. I think he's going to do better at heavyweight than some people think because of the fact that he's in such great condition. Because he's in such great condition. Now, when he gets in, and Murat, he's already kind of at heavyweight. You know what I mean? He's already kind of at heavyweight. Cruiserweight is, it's like the mini heavyweight division, and really, Alexander Usyk could easily be fighting at 210, 205, 210 pounds. So he'll come in at about, 6'3", 210, classic heavyweight, big enough to hit you, small enough now where he's not carrying a bunch of extra stuff. And I could see him giving trouble to a lot of heavyweights. I could see him being trouble for everybody. Even the big dudes. Now, the problem with a guy like Deontay Wilder is that Deontay Wilder has that range. And because he's so tall, that 6'7", and he's got the ability to jab, and that bomb is so heavy. So heavy. If he clips him, more than likely he's gonna knock him out. But so, man, I think he'd have a hard time with the big guys, like Anthony Joshua. I think Alexander Usyk would have a difficult time with Anthony Joshua. And if nothing else, I know he won the WBC belt, but I'm telling you, man, something about that constant movement. This is the second fight in a row I've watched him go 12 rounds, and I saw him, and he never got tired. So I have to wonder about that. Similar to what people would say about Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was, coming up and beating guys like Margarito, beating Cotto, beating Oscar De La Hoya. The one thing about Manny Pacquiao was that's what this reminds me of. It reminds me, without a slightly less power than Pacquiao showed, but it was just constant, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. Just constant movement, constant punching, constant in and out. It was just that dynamic of it reminds me of that, and that's what makes me wonder. Now, I will give the fair, give the dude the fair shake, and unless you pop, you ain't pop. But that just makes me wonder for when he goes to heavyweight and somebody puts him under. Number one, he's fighting those really, really big dudes. Anyway, man, but I guess I'm getting off track a little bit. I definitely think that this guy can be a legitimate heavyweight contender. The only problem is that he's going to have to do something. If he's going to have to do something where he gets somebody's respect with his power. Because at the end of the day, when you're fighting these dudes, I saw him beat Joe Joyce in an 8-rounder, something like that. And Joe Joyce, I'm not that particularly impressed with. But anyway, we'll see what it is with the heavyweights and where he goes from here. But, man, much respect to Alexander Usyk. Great fighter. He did what I was looking for. The first guy this year, and probably going to be the only guy this year to do what I was looking for, which is unify all 4 belts. So this cat deserves to have his reputation grow from this. And he definitely deserves to be, in that hypothetical subjective marketing tool called pound for pound. He definitely deserves to go a little bit higher in the list. In order to do that, though, but really, honestly, man, he's going to now pretty much disqualify himself, in my opinion, from being in that list when he moves to heavyweight. Because when you're the heavyweight, you're just the heavyweight. You're the man. There is no weight class. So his next step really is to leave weight classes altogether. And hey, man, I wish him the best of luck. And that was exciting tournament, and that World Boxing Super Series is really good for boxing. And with that, I'm out. Peace.